Hi all, let's look at game 2 of Garry Kasparov at the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz event. So this is the Rapid event, game 2, d4 from Nakamura. We have knight f6, c4, g6. We go into the Gruenfeld. Kasparov plays d5, the Gruenfeld. Now Nakamura chooses here bishop g5. This is the fourth most popular move in Lightbook. Bishop g7 is played, which is representing a pawn sacrifice basically. White takes on f6, black takes, c takes d5, so a temporary pawn sack. c6, white holds on to his pawn, black castles knight f3, c takes d, white is giving the pawn back to establish this central pawn wedge. Queen d2, knight c6, bishop b5. White wants to exert greater control and influence over key central squares and seems to be wanting to give up the bishop. He might also be creating a square on c5 later for a knight in this structure. But black has bishop g4, immediately threatening to fracture white's pawn structure. That's avoided with knight g1. It looks a bit strange. Can black do something with this? Well, f6, very energetic. h3, the bishop drops back to e6 in preparation for f takes without d5 being such an issue. E takes, rook takes f6. Now white does take on c6, so giving black the bishop pair against the two knights. So quite a dramatic imbalance here. Knight ge2 is played. Queen d6. White castles, black logically doubles the rooks there. Rook a e1. The bishop drops back. This could be a very useful diagonal. Knight a4, discouraging potential bishop a6 with this knight c5 with tempo. But black tries to break the bind with e5. D takes and queen takes e5, going in front of a potential discovered attack on the queen scenario, but it seems to be fairly harmless here. b4, establishing that knight outpost square. Now maybe here black could have played quite energetically. Kasparov played rook e6, and perhaps this is an opportunity for something more energetic. Maybe queen d6, which eyes the a5 pawn, getting out of the way of this knight for the discovery attack on the queen, with the idea that a5 is possible, but also now g5. And this is quite dangerous. If white ever takes this g5 pawn, then there's a little bit of trouble after taking. Bishop takes h3 becomes possible. So if g takes, then there's rook g6. But white can exchange off queens. But in this position, black stands quite well. The knights will have trouble holding each other. Black's got the bishop pair. Yeah, black's slightly better. So maybe that was the way to play things here after this b4 move. But rook e6 was played. Knight c5 with tempo. Now, the thing is, knight b3. The knights are able to hold each other on the nice blockade square. Queen b2. The queens come off. Knight e d4. Rook takes e1. You might think, hold on, isn't one idea like bishop c3 or bishop a3? Yeah. If we look at this position, because b4 seems slightly vulnerable, here just taking and just knight takes c6 actually holds this pawn, and it becomes a bit tricky. Yeah, white's slightly better. So that doesn't seem so hot. On bishop a3, again knight takes c6. Alright, so basically black took on e1 and bishop d7. We have rook e2 hitting the bishop. Bishop c3 now. Rook c2, so trading the B pawn for the C6 pawn, which creates an isolated pawn here. Bishop D6, but black has the bishop pair, and now this is representing a pawn sack that's taken, but black seizes that central file and threatens mate in 1 here. White parries that with G4, giving the exit. H5, very energetic. F3, check. King F7. Black holds the balance technically here. H4. Maybe simpler is to start dissolving pawns. This could be a long-term target in the future. Perhaps simplest is to start dissolving pawns with HG, and the bishop pair should look after black here. It should be equal really. So a slight risk, a long-term risk, this pawn on H4. Knight D4, Rook D1, Rook D2. We have further simplification. King F6, King F2, and now a slight mistake. King E5, which does expose a liability here. Better is perhaps G5, and this position should be absolutely fine for black. The bishop pair is looking after black, even though white's got the extra outside pass pawn here. But in this position, there's a trick coming up. King E3 with the idea of F4, G5, but here, very nice move by Nakamura. Can you guess if I give you 5 seconds? Okay, temporary pawn sack F4. After King D3, the idea is Knight F3 to pick up this pawn. And it's tricky. Bishop E7, check. Knight F5, check. Bishop takes. And black struggling here now. After Knight D4, yeah, it's difficult for black in this position. King D6, A4. Bishop D8, trying to hold that pawn. Knight E6 though. Bishop B6, yeah, it's difficult to stop everything. The outside pawn combined with the pressure. So white's getting his pawn back with interest. Now F6, so if king takes, these two pawns will win against the bishop. Just to show, F7, A5, the two pawns are winning here. The bishop is overloaded, for example, like that. So basically, this is troublesome for black now. Bishop C5, F7. Yeah, losing a pawn now. It's difficult to do anything here. Knight takes D5 check. King takes. And now there's two ways for white to go here. And it seems this is quite interesting. Some precision is really needed here. It seems King C4 might be the best way to go. I'll give you an example. King E4 was played in the game. If we go in this direction to try and do something with this pawn, for example, Bishop F2, the king can come up here, and now the knight can come back to G2 to harass this pawn. Yeah, the bishop can't cover this pawn and stop this knight G2, and once that H pawn drops, it's a matter of going back and supporting A7 by the knight coming to B6 eventually. This will be a winning position. But in the game, Nakamura chooses King E4. This is slightly different. King E6, check. Knight G2, Bishop F2, King F3. Although white is getting this pawn, Kasparov is taking time to take out the A4 pawn, and then he's going to get this bishop on the diagonal to stop this pawn. So this is very, very good save by Kasparov. He's keeping the bishop there. And yeah, with precise play, black is holding this now. yeah, bishop h8 is needed here. If bishop h8 isn't played, it's still okay actually after knight f5, as long as the king is around to stop knight g7. You know, if here knight g7 is winning, but if the king returns to f8 here, then there's no knight g7. So that's holding the balance. So bishop h8, knight g4. Now this position has limited tricks actually. It seems actually black's fine now. Bishop a1, knight e3. Bishop just drops back. Check. Knight f4 check. Knight h3. Yep. It's looking pretty drawish now. The bishop is prepared to sacrifice itself to eliminate the pawn, which it does, and draw agreed. So Kasparov had a very promising position out of the opening, which unfortunately, yeah, he managed to get the worst position for the endgame, but managed to save it. So a good solid effort there from Garry Kasparov against one of the best blitz and rapid players in the world. So congratulations to Garry Kasparov, holding in his first 2 rounds so far. Comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks so much.